Hello patrons, welcome to another video. I promised myself that I wouldn't stop and start this audio, so it's going to be quite jumbled and mumbly and awkward, I imagine, because what I wanted to do with this video, by the way, this video is to celebrate 1 year on Patreon, which I'm very happy about and can't believe it's come around so soon. What I wanted to do to celebrate my 1 year on Patreon was do a live stream, so I started looking into it, admittedly a bit late in the day, because actually what you need to do is verify your account with YouTube, which can take a couple of days, and then I think you've got to link it with your phone or your email address or something, I don't know, but it just got a bit long-winded, and I thought, how many times am I going to live stream? Probably not that often. So instead I'm just making a bit of a real-time painting video for you, so I really hope you enjoy watching. First of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm painting here. So if you watch my latest vlog, you'll have seen that I've been working on some endangered creatures for a little mini print series slash postcard series. I haven't decided yet. I need to look into getting these printed, and I just wanted to paint one more to finish off the set, so there's 5 of them in total, and this animal is called a Numbat. No, it's not. It's called a Numbat, which is a marsupial from Australia. And when I started looking into these creatures, it was fate. I just knew I had to paint one of these creatures because the mums are troopers. They, although they're marsupials, they don't have a little pouch on them, which normally they would do to carry their young, like kangaroos and such. But they do carry their young kind of on their tummies when they're tiny little grub things, and then when they get older they just climb all over their mum's back, and that's how they're transported. So I just got really excited by that. I knew I wanted to paint her, and the markings on Numbats are really lovely. They just have like these bright coppery kind of colours, and actually this is one of my favourite colours to paint with, so that's probably another reason why I was drawn to this animal. What other facts can I tell you about them? Their diet consists almost exclusively of termites. That's nice. What else? They're omnivores, they're very social creatures, they are endangered, found in Western Australia. Today Numbats are considered to be an endangered species, as there are only a few small Numbat colonies found in Western Australia today. It's been estimated that there are only 1,500 Numbats individually left in the wild. Oh, that's so sad. Oh. Due to their size, Numbats are prey to larger predatory animals such as foxes, snakes, dingoes, and feral cats. Dogs also prey on Numbats, along with birds of prey that eat the little babies. Let's see if we can find out why they're endangered. Oh, this article says there's less than 1,000 of them in the world. That's very rare, isn't it? It's because of habitat loss, which is true of most of animals that are going extinct, isn't it? And people are responsible. Forests are being cut down and cleared to make room for homes, farmland and mining. When the land is cleared, the Numbats have no place to live and no food supply, so they die. So they like to live in wooded areas so they can get termites out of the trees, and they also don't like being too hot or too cold, so they live in the logs and vegetation as well. Oh, that's sad, isn't it? But they're lovely creatures, and I'm really actually happy with this painting, so I hope you enjoy seeing how it comes together. What else do I want to talk about in this video? So it's Sunday currently, and it's St. Patrick's Day, so we just got back from the pub where we had pint of Guinness, which is one of my favourite drinks actually. I love Guinness, and we were talking about going to Ireland soon. I'd really love to visit and just visit Dublin for a bit, but then go off into the countryside, maybe the coastline or something. But I know it's quite expensive, which makes me not want to go. Like, I love going to Scotland because of the amazing landscape, but also it's quite well priced everywhere you go, even if you go into the cities, unless you're in Edinburgh, which is a bit more pricey. It's usually quite cost effective to have a holiday in Scotland, but I think Ireland's pretty expensive everywhere, and it's a euro, so it's not a great exchange rate. Have any of you been to Ireland? I'd love to know where you went and where you'd recommend going. What else have I done this weekend? Yeah, so I painted this last night, which was Saturday night. It was a lovely painting experience. Craig was just over at his desk doing some Japanese, so he's been learning Japanese since November of last year. He's getting pretty good at it. He keeps trying to teach me phrases, and they just leave my head as soon as they enter. I just don't have the brain for learning languages, I don't think. But yeah. Today we've been doing lots of cooking for the cookbook actually, so finally I've got the recipe nailed for the quiche, which is kind of sort of a quiche, sort of like a vegetable tart thing. It's really delicious, but I've finalised it, so I can put that one to bed. We've got that for lunch for the rest of the week, I think, and we're also making a tagine with jackfruit and butternut squash and prunes, and I made kind of a really nice spice mix to go with it. So this is our first attempt of making this tagine. I just had an idea to use jackfruit because I know a lot of people don't really like mock meats. I'm a massive mock meat fan, so there are some recipes in my cookbook using like tofu made into fish or seitan, but I know some people don't really like that kind of mock meaty taste, so I thought I'd use jackfruit for this recipe, because it kind of, if you've never had it before, it usually comes in tins. If you live in a more tropical climate, you might be able to get it as a whole fruit, but I've only ever seen it in tins in kind of brine, and it comes in chunks, and these chunks, once you start cooking them, they break apart like meat, and they're really delicious, kind of mimicking like a lamb tagine, I guess, but obviously not hurting any lambs. So I'm excited to see what that's like. It's been slow cooking for a couple of hours in the oven. Just realised it's a bit weird that I was saying we then, because it is my cookbook, but Craig has really come on board and helped me with the recipe testing side of it, and the recipe creation side of it, because that's the part about making this cookbook that I've been feeling the most overwhelmed about, because it's just really outside of my typical thing with my work. I feel very comfortable with the art and the design side of it, and even the writing I'm very excited about, but the actual technical cooking part of it, I'm just very nervous about it, because I would hate for someone to get this book and try one of my recipes and just have a disaster, and because I know what that's like to follow a recipe and it's just shit and confusing and you end up with something that isn't that great. So I don't want that to happen with my recipes. So having Craig help me and support me, and someone to help bounce ideas off of, it's just been so good. So bear that in mind when you see this cookbook, that Craig was behind a lot of the recipes. and was there helping me for a lot of the cooking process. He is an amazing cook and he's got a lot more patience than me, so he enjoys cooking a lot more than I do. For a while I thought I loved cooking, but actually I think I just like the eating part of it. I'm a real massive foodie and I love thinking about food combinations and different things that I'd love to veganize, but when it comes to the actual technical part of it, I'm impatient and I want to just know if it works straight away. The actual going through the trial and error stage of it, which is where I'm at now with a lot of my recipes, is painful sometimes, because sometimes you can end up wasting food, and I hate wasting food. And I've just had a few disasters. I think you're bound to when you're playing around with ingredients and trying to figure out new recipes. But it's just, yeah, I think you need a lot of patience when you're writing a cookbook, and you need to be prepared to make a lot of mistakes. But the good thing is that I'm learning a lot, and I've really nailed down some recipes that I look forward to being able to make again and again throughout my life. And the more you cook, the more comfortable you become with it. So I've definitely improved my cooking skills a lot, and I'm learning a lot. Not to say that I was an inexperienced cook before I started this, because I have always cooked a lot throughout my life, but I've only been vegan for 3 years, so I'm still learning so much.
These things I don't know about. To whom could we go? Could we go? To whom could we go?
This was the moment that my burger arrived. Burger and chips. This was delicious. It was a burger from Iceland. They're no bull burgers. Yum. So I think now I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I think I've blabbered on about nothing much for far too long, so I hope you enjoyed this kind of podcast part of the video, and now I'm just gonna speed up the footage and you can see how the painting comes together. I really love this one. I spent a lot of this painting process not really liking what I was doing. I liked the initial bit when I mapped out all the purpley and maroony kind of colours, and then when I started adding detail I started to doubt myself a little bit, but I pulled it back and I'm really happy with the finished painting. I can't wait to share it on Instagram, and I will be selling the originals of all of these, and then on Mother's Day I think I will release the set of prints then. So if you would like to buy one of the original paintings for Mother's Day, let me know. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed listening along to this. I do hope that you got on with other things, that you weren't just watching this, because it's quite long and rambly and boring. So I hope you are also painting or doing something creative, having a nice cup of tea whilst you listen/watch this. And yeah, I'll see you again very soon for another video, and on here next week as well. I hope you had a really lovely weekend, and goodbye.